Hey friends, welcome back to the Clean Mom Edit. If you're new here, I'm Mackenzie. I'm a mom of three, basically a clean living realist and a woman who is definitely not doing this perfectly. But figuring out one step at a time. So my topic today is that I'm going to share just like the 5 easiest clean living swaps that I've made like thus far, and the ones that made a big difference and have actually like stuck for the long haul. And I would still recommend to any mom who's starting out. So I'll tell you exactly, why I made the change, like what the old product can do to your body and why the new choice works better. So you can hopefully leave this episode not just inspired, but feeling, more just informed and ultimately more educated is my goal. So I'm laughing also because it's just like, this is the second episode, and you guys were like so supportive and like got so much love. So just like, thank you. This has been like I've been excited about this project for a long time, and it's like good like coping mechanism because I said like it's just kind of like having a conversation with my girlfriend. But I wanted to tell you like there's not many times in my life that I get surprised, and this weekend I got surprised and it was awesome. And I just like encourage people to surprise people more often because it's like the best feeling. I'm gonna do better at that. So my best friend, she lives in Terre Haute, and she got connected with my mom and was like, do they have a free weekend, Trevor and I? And they set it up where they were coming into town because Trevor is best friends with her husband, so it works out great. And we spent a lot of time together when we lived in Indiana, and I miss them dearly. And so that was reason why a big move, to Illinois was like hard because we made some really great friends in our previous city. So with that though, that they came and we went to the pool all afternoon, and because they had not seen our new house and they hadn't met like our new baby. Life just gets away, and I feel like we've seen them throughout the year just without the kids. So it was awesome to welcome them in. But I cried whenever they opened the door because I was just like so happy to see them because we miss them dearly. So my little tidbit, surprise people more often because it's just like such an amazing feeling. But so first and foremost, I wanted to kind of give you some background about like how I got to like clean living journey in the first place, and like where that interest really came about. Because a lot of you may think it was, from my dad's passing, but I was into like health and wellness like prior to that. It's always been something that I'm passionate about, but I would say like I really started to, kickside the like internal part whenever Trevor, my husband, his sister introduced me to a book called The Plan. And it was basically like a gut reset program where you then would slowly introduce like one food item at a time. So it would be like wheat, it would be like dairy, and you would kind of basically it was like, helping you with inflammation and figuring out what foods like you have a sensitivity to. So that's really when I found out that I was really sensitive to dairy. But ultimately, like, we just got engaged, Trevor and I wanted to look good for the wedding. And so that's why I really took it upon myself. And my husband's sister, like, lost a bunch of weight. She felt great. So it was like, well, why not? And it was just something that was like, in writing, like, do this and you'll get results. And I'm really good at that part. Like, if you tell me what to do, like, I'm pretty determined and feel like I can usually, have the self-motivation to do it. So I did. And I wasn't completely successful. Like I think it was like 30 days or 60 days. I can't remember, but I at least did it for a little bit. So like, and taught me something. So I'm like, I always think like just trying things, it's still better than better than nothing. So and just to let you guys know, like I've, didn't complete programs myself as well. Time and time again, I've bought tons of things and haven't completed, but I've gained, a little bit. Like my goal is always just to get like one thing from like a course or a podcast or, a seminar or whatnot. So, but I know that like, this wellness world is so overwhelming, and, with clean living, like you go against like years of habits, like how you grew up, like how your parents taught you how to live, like you're going against all of that. And just ultimately like culture, like you're looked at as a weirdo, if you are, growing your own, zucchinis in the back a lot of time, or, if you don't eat dairy, and, the convenience part of it too. Like you have to, be thoughtful in a way, but the book ultimately just, like I said, like gave me a place to start. And I think that's the biggest thing, in this journey is just like starting. Just start. There's, like I said, like no one size fits all. Like my journey is going to be different than your journey, and hopefully you get one thing from each of the podcasts. And I'm sharing what worked for me, but it might not all work for you. But so you can get creative with your own journey from there. So I used to ultimately, like a background is, and if you can hear the kids, like, yep, that I figured that might happen one of these times, but I'm recording this in Bexley's closet. So hopefully I can get, a few minutes out of the way to talk to you all. So, but background, I told you my first, if you don't know me, but I used to run a coaching business for women. And I would give clients the perfect plan. So workouts, nutrition, all of it. And, almost nobody stuck to it 100%. I would say probably 100% of them did not. But when they picked, just like one or two habits and stayed consistent, like that's when they like transformed. So, and it wasn't just like physically all the time, but like their confidence. And that's one thing that I'm like, just one or two things is such a big step. Like you don't have to do it all right now. And once you like prove to yourself that you can, like your confidence continues to grow. So like if you keep your own promises, like you're going to keep other people's promises. So it's, the same, just a general life lesson. So just like one swap at a time, like it builds momentum, and momentum is addictive in, so many ways. And so I just want to kind of share that, observation too in my coaching business. Like this, I didn't just see it with myself, like adopting, little bite-sized things along the way. And, it's taken me years to get to where I'm at today. Doing that, you get confidence along the way. It is, like I said, like building that momentum. So get to the point of the episode is the 5 swaps here. So the first one I did was soda. Like I got rid of soda. So drinking filtered water or, flavored water, if those, if you want to make a transition. So soda, I drank a lot of like Diet Coke, but obviously, the realizing how much sugar chemicals were, in it, and realizing that those were, probably wrecking my energy levels, and something that like I just didn't feel good after I drank it. My stomach was bloated. So that was something that I got rid of early on. So why soda is so harmful is it's sugar spikes blood sugar. And I kind of have like some bullet points, and, us being, a lot of you being moms, like, let's just get to the point here. So I've kind of broken it down into each of the swaps and just gave you some pretty direct reasonings of why. So the sugar spikes, blood sugar, insulin surge, crash, cravings, obviously. The phosphoric acid, it can weaken your bones, and the artificial sweeteners can obviously disrupt gut health and increase sugar cravings. So I would choose filter water or water infused with lemon, berries, cucumbers. I do that a lot. And I'll tell you that, one thing that I do is drink like an energy drink. I do love my energy drinks. That's something that just is fun for me. I was a big Alani fan or Lanu fan, but realized just recently that, some of the ingredients were something not favorable for me. So I decided to check into Bloom, a little bit more better ingredients in my opinion, and I actually feel better because sometimes the Alanus were giving me a little bit of jitters and would create anxiety to me, so I decided to go a more like natural route. So it's better hydration, it supports brain and digestion, no empty calories or chemicals, and it keeps your blood sugar stable. So that's one swap that I did. And then the second swap here was vegetable oil. So typically we use avocado oil or olive oil. So why I swapped, so vegetable oil is canola, soybean, corn. They are cheap, but they're inflammatories. So they oxidize when heated, and they create free radicals that damage cells. So too much omega-6 without enough omega-3 creates chronic inflammation. So it's linked to hormone imbalance, heart disease, autoimmune issues. So when you're using oils, use avocado oil for high heat and then olive oil for low heat or raw. So it's just going to support your hormone production, your brain health. It reduces inflammation, and it's packed with antioxidants. So that's a pretty easy swap from there. And then the third one that I had wrote down was we got rid of our plastic cutting boards, and now we use just like wooden, bamboo. The plastic boards, they get grooves on them from, the knife going into them that trap bacteria, and they shed microplastics into your food. So microplastics, they are a hormone disruptor. They increase inflammation. They build up tissue. So also bacteria can hide in those grooves, which can be a higher risk of foodborne illnesses. So like I said, bamboo or hard working cutting boards are a better option. It's going to be like naturally microbial, no microplastics, and last longer. The fourth one that I did was we replaced our plastic food storage with glass containers. So heating food in plastic, it increases like chemical leaching. So BPA, BPS, they mimic estrogen in the body. So it creates like hormone imbalance, fertility issues, high risk of certain cancers as well. So the better choice, I would say, like Anchor's a good brand. Like silicone lids or stainless steel lids are even better. So we have plastic lids, but I mean glass containers. So like I said, not perfection over here. Our lids are actually like getting broken because we've been putting them in the dishwasher. So I'm in the market for some new containers. So I will let you know what I come up with, because I will probably go with a brand that has like silicone lids or stainless steel after doing my research here. So, but it's better because there's no chemical leaching. It's safe for reheating, and it lasts for years. So, the last swap is Dawn dish soap to a more toxic dish soap. So, most dish soaps, they have like synthetic fragrances or dyes. So fragrances can contain phypholates, which are hormone disruptors. So I'm hoping I'm saying that right. You guys are, like I said, like this is learning along the way in the research that I'm doing. But ultimately, it can, harm your microbiome. So better choices. We were using Attitude for the longest time, but I've gotten some word that it might not be the best, like a clean brand. So I'm currently doing my research on like if they're greenwashing. So I would say Attitude is still fine, but Branch Basics, I've heard a lot of great things about. And then I would say just like Castile soap if you're looking for just a really like DIY one. We've used Cassil soap, but Bane actually has an allergy to it, so unfortunately I can't use that as dish soap. So Attitude's always been good for us. We're using like an off-brand from Dollar General right now. Won't be a long-term fit, but given that we ran out and needed some ASAP, that was the best option for us at the time. So let's see, I think that's it. So that's, one thing that I just wanted to touch on continuously is, you're seeing that I'm not perfect. I'm doing this as good as I can. I would say the biggest challenge for me in the wellness journey swap has been dairy, just because I love grilled cheeses, mac and cheese. Like, it's so easy to get cheese and you don't realize what cheese and dairy is on everything until you have to be cautious about it. But I want to let you know that I still enjoy my desserts on weekends. And I think right now, if I do go off track, I know just exactly how to get back on, without spiraling. And that's what I want, you to get to, so that you're, more in control. And, I want you all to know that I, do my best in my own home, and I have some pretty, major drastic changes that we've had in, with our swaps. But also, my mom lives, down the road, and we still go to her, and she uses Dawn and she uses Tide Pods, and it's not like I'm a crazy lady that won't go to people's houses. I just want to set that expectation that I'm still, getting, in contact with these things, but it's in a lesser way. So better than nothing, right? So this is about doing the best that you can for your family right now, and not chasing perfection.